Hello, this is Amanda for Fairy Stamper, and today we're going to talk about using pattern paper for your backgrounds. I know that some people struggle with the ink blending and all the mixed media stuff and whatnot, so I thought I would show how I use pattern paper for my backgrounds. So today I'm using a piece of pattern paper from my stash. This is from Hobby Lobby, so it's a Paper Studio brand, and it was something that I had a few years ago from one of their paper packs. And it does have a very subtle background with like music notes and whatnot, and I thought that it would go perfect with Aris. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'm not really sure, but it's Aris. And I'm stamping her in Versifying Claire Nocturne, and it is a new stamp, so I am stamping it a couple times just to get a nice bold black impression. And then I am going to take some clear embossing powder from Ranger and heat emboss over that. Now this is a patterned paper, not a cardstock, so you do need to make sure that your heat tool is nice and hot before you bring it to the pattern paper. That way we don't get a whole lot of warping. As you can see, I went a little overzealous with my flick there and knocked all the embossing powder off. So then I thought that it would look nice for Aris to be sitting up against the lantern tree. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stamp the tree, and then we're going to heat emboss that as well. I did not do any masking with this because I figured that fairy wings are somewhat see-through. So I don't care that the lines show through her wings. That's not a big deal to me. So I didn't feel like doing any masking for that. But I will show you what I do for the heat embossing, because I did not want the heat embossing to show through her wings. So I will be knocking that powder off in a second. So I'm going to heat emboss this, like I said, with the clear embossing powder from Ranger. And then I am going to take a brush here and wipe off the embossing powder for the tree, because that really you wouldn't want that to stand out in the front. The wings are in the front, so in order to make it look like the tree is in the back, I'm going to be wiping off that powder before I heat set the powder. Also, because I'm going to take a gel pen to the wings, it would be awfully confusing what parts are the wings and what parts are the tree and that kind of stuff. So I didn't want that powder on there. So in order to amp up the pattern paper here, I'm going to be taking some Distress ink in Vintage Photo and go around the edges, make it a little bit more of a moody scene. I do like the edges to be dark and moody with this kind of background. You do have to be careful with the pattern paper because it is, again, paper. It's very thin. So as you're ink blending on it, sometimes the brush here will catch on the edges, as you've seen, like right there. So do be careful that you don't smash or rip your paper if you're going to ink blend the edges. I did decide that the Vintage Photo wasn't quite moody enough for me, so I'm going to bring out some of that black soot and just go just slightly on the edges. I'm not bringing it quite as far in as I did the Vintage Photo. This does give it a little bit more of a dark and moody feeling, just by bringing it in just a little bit and getting it darkening up the edges. Geez, I cannot talk today. So moving on, I did decide that I wanted to stamp on the inside of my card, and I am going to be using a black card base today, so I'm doing a white panel on the inside. So I'm bringing out two of the flowers from the Fantasy Flower stamp set. I'm just going to make the stems so they come out at the same part in the middle here, and just stamp those in Versifying Claire Nocturne as well. So once I finish that up, then we're just going to assemble the card. So I'm going to take my white panel here, put it on the inside of my black card base. As you can see, I've got a little stamping mishap there, but there are two sides to a piece of paper, so no one will see that mishap there. I'm just going to glue that to the inside, and I did cut my panel, so there was a slight black border on the inside. Then we will move on to gluing the outside of the panel together. Get that glued down nice and good, and then we're going to flip it over. And I did decide to mat the red piece on a piece of gold pearlized paper, and that is from Paper Accents. And I did make that 1/8 of an inch border around my 4 by 5¼ inch card panel. So I'm just going to get that evenly glued on there. And then that will finish up our card today. Oh, I did, almost forgot off screen, I did take a gel pen and fill in those wings. And then I drew some little music notes coming out of her saxophone. And we're just going to pop this up on some craft foam and attach that to my card base. And that will finish up the card for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video today. The links for the supplies are in the description box below. If you're watching this on the Fairy Stamper YouTube channel, my links for my social media are in the description box below. If you're watching this on my channel, the links for the Fairy Stamper website and the YouTube channel are in the description box below, as well as the Facebook group, so you can join us over there and share all your wonderful projects. As always, have a great day.